what about women in countries who have not been like as lucky as us? And who are then living in countries maybe where the men are not so educated either on how they should treat women. How do we make these changes? Because we often sit at meetings and everything and say, oh, we're empowering women, which I sort of really dislike that word, because they're generally talking to an audience of women who are already empowered. So how do we reach out and how do we help and tell the story to women and men in other countries or who are not so empowered? How do we get out to them? Because that's also changing the whole education system as well, and the way we, learning by rote, and so can we seismically, can we change that? How can we do this?
One of the precious gifts we can give to another person is our time. So if we have an opportunity to change or talk to one person, like whether it's mentoring, a phone conversation, or whichever it can be, sometimes we think that we have to do something big, but maybe it's just one life at a time, one step at a time. So for me, I think we are talking about giving, and we all do charity and all do give many things to many people, but giving our time to, I don't know, a group of women sitting in Nepal and teaching them about solar or leadership, that 40 minutes can change people and have ripple effects. So I think consciously, if we donate our time, whether through online platforms, now there's so many platforms.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that is very powerful, because something that might you have solved in your life, and just saying that stories, I think power of stories is so important. In ancient cultures, they would have storytelling time, and the ancient grandparents would tell the stories to the younger generation. I think with technology and efficiency, we often disconnect to that tradition. So giving people that opportunity, gift of time and storytelling.
Sorry to cut you off. So there is this global network for women in renewable energy. So one of the platforms that she was mentioning. So I'm part of the platform. So what it works in very similar pattern that you just said. It is about just dedicating some time across a month or in a quarter, a couple of hours, where they bring all the women in developing countries as well on board, and they ask us to pick up a topic where you can mentor them or train them on various avenues, and it has been very helpful. And since you mentioned about Nepal, there was one initiative that our company has that is we call it CS Cares. So it's like a CSR activity we do. So this is about empowering underdeveloped nations through energy access. So where we go into rural communities in Zambia, in I think Ghana, a couple of countries in Africa. We're also doing in rural India as well, where we set up microgrids. Microgrids are microgrids and we connected to dal processing plant, Thales, and pulses processing plant, or whatever is locally available, which can be processed. And there we employ and train people. This is not at a leadership level, but a bit that we do, which I thought would be helpful. So it is about social development, training them and handing over this duty to them so that they can make their livelihood. And we focus a lot on women in this. But this is selected, so we consciously select women to get them trained to work here or to lead this enterprise. And then we hand over and move to the next project.
So when you think about the challenge, it's some way mind-boggling, isn't it, to think how you can have, a tangible difference on the problems at a grassroots level. But it's not just about making a difference to educate the women, it's also probably mainly educating